Anthony Michael sat in front of the fire. Outside, the wind howled through the branches and blew great drifts of snow up against the walls of the house. It was getting dark, and the flickering flames of the fire were the only light in the room. Anthony Michael was all by himself because his mother was in the kitchen and his father was out in the forest chopping wood. Crackle, hiss, flicker went the fire. Anthony Michael loved to sit on the carpet in front of it and stare like a cat at the flames as they curled around the logs and licked at the pieces of coal. When he was by himself, he liked to talk to the fire. "Tell me a story, fire," he whispered. "A story," said the fire. "Well, let me think. What sort of story would you like?" "One about knights in armor and fierce dragons and ladies locked up in a castle," said Anthony Michael eagerly. "Oh, I'm not sure you're old enough for such tales," said the fire. "Yes, I am," said Anthony Michael indignantly. "I'm 8 years old, and I have read lots of books." "Do you know how old I am?" asked the fire. "I'm older than anything you could possibly imagine, and I know more stories than you could possibly learn in your lifetime. You mentioned dragons just now. I used to live inside the mouths of dragons, you know." "Yes, I did know," said Anthony Michael, "and you used to shoot out and burn the lances of knights who came to kill the dragons." "Yes, I'm afraid I get excited rather easily," said the fire in a resigned sort of way. "Now, if you want a story, you had better stoke me up, because I'm needing a bit of spark, but remember to treat me carefully. I don't want to get into trouble." But it was too late. Anthony Michael was so excited at the prospect of a story that he bent down into the log basket, picked out several big logs and some big pieces of coal, and threw them onto the fire. Crack, sizzle, whoosh went the fire, wrapping great big flames around the dry wood. "Uh-oh," shouted the fire. "That's too much! I warned you! This wood is awfully tasty!" And he started to roar and shoot huge flames up into the chimney. Sparks from the burning logs cracked and jumped into the air, and Anthony Michael could feel his heat reddening his cheeks. "Oh, please, fire," he cried. "Don't burn so fast." "I can't help it," shouted the fire. "You will have to do something, or I shall burn the chimney down." And already lumps of smoldering soot were falling from the chimney. Anthony Michael was very frightened. Just as he was wondering what to do, he heard the sound of heavy boots being stamped in the hall, and then his father came bursting into the room. "What have you been doing with the fire?" he asked in an angry voice. "There are sparks coming out of the top of the chimney. We shall have to call the fire department." But just as he reached for his phone, there was a loud rushing noise in the chimney, and a huge mound of snow came tumbling down on the fire. An extra strong gust of wind had blown it off the chimney top. "Ouch! Splutter! Psst!" went the fire as the snow fell on it and the wet logs gave off a thick blue smoke. The big flames had all gone out. It was just a tiny blue one flickering feebly in a corner of the smoldering grate. "I knew this would happen," said the fire in a small voice. "I said that you must treat me carefully, and now I am much too damp to tell you a story. You are just very lucky that the snow fell down the chimney, otherwise—" But before it could finish the sentence, the fire gave a small spluttering sneeze and went out. "You certainly are very lucky, my boy," said Anthony Michael's fire as he tucked him into bed. "You see, the fire is good to us and keeps us warm so long as we watch it and never play games with it.
Now, if you like, I'll tell you a story.
What about? Said Anthony Michael.
Well, once upon a time, there was a fierce fire-eating dragon.
But Anthony Michael was already asleep.